I've been winning 5 years now in a row, and you know, you have to do something about it. If you have a fighting spirit, or if you are a real sportsman, you know, you don't let go. You try to improve and try to do better than the competition.
The team from Belgium is equal to the competition out here today. In the 500 class, George Jobé and Gabors goes down. The muddy Unadilla track has claimed yet another victim. The question now is whether Gabors will be able to hold on to second. John Vandenberg, the Dutch 250 rider, and Vandenberg bobbles. Bob Hanna moves into the number 3 position overall, riding a 125. The Hurricane is putting together an unbelievable ride. In front, it's all Rick Johnson. The U.S. champ from El Cajon, California, took the lead early and has ridden virtually error-free. Johnson and Hanna are in the driver's seat, but as we have seen so many times out here today, anything can happen. After the first moto, the U.S. team found themselves behind the Belgians and the Dutch. To get back into contention, they needed a 100% effort, and that's what they got from Johnson and Hanna. The rain's still coming down, but it hasn't dampened the spirits of this huge Unadilla crowd. They're cheering for Hanna, they're cheering for Johnson as they round every corner and every inch on every straightaway. And here comes Johnson to take the checkered flag in moto number 2. Johnson was the 250 class and is the overall winner. Here comes Bob Hanna. He'll win the 125 class. We'll be back with the official results right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Motocross Des Nations. A dirty but happy Bob Hanna is still trackside long after the end of the moto. Let's look at the results of moto number 2. Only 2 of the 3 countries in contention for championship honors scored points in the second 125 moto. Belgian Mark Velkeneers finished 3rd, while the win went to Bob Hanna from the U.S. The Dutch entry, Davy Striebos, failed to finish the second moto. In the 250 class, 5-time U.S. national champion Rick Johnson romped home the winner ahead of world champions Eric Gabors and John Vandenberg. Before looking at team standings, let's go to the American pits where Gary Bailey is standing by with Rick Johnson.
Ricky, an excellent ride in the first moto when the pressure was on. You knew what you had to do, and you went out and you did it, and you and Bob both got 1-1. Now you're going into the second moto, the pressure's on again. What's the situation against the other teams?
Well, the way it is now, Gary, we have to get either Jeff or I have to pull off a first place in either class, the 250 or the 500, and we can wrap up the Des Nations Championship.
The best 4 scores of the 6 that can be earned by each country will decide the championship. In the first 2 motos, both Belgium and the U.S. recorded 4 good scores. The Dutch team has 3. It's still anyone's ball game. The 250s and 500s are on the line for the 3rd and championship deciding moto. Motocross Des Nations, it's team competition. You can bet, though, that both Johnson and Ward are looking for individual wins to sew up the title for the U.S. And there goes the gate. The final moto of one of the most prestigious motocross events in the world is underway. Motocross Des Nations. 51 riders competing for the honor of their countries. For most contestants, the muddy, slippery Unadilla track has been a nightmare. For others, like first moto winner George Jobé, the less than ideal conditions work to their advantage.
Because we're used to that in Europe, and I like a lot the rain, the mud, because it's very heavy, very technical, very slippery. So you need a lot of technique, more than the speed. So that's what I like.
But right now, Team USA's Rick Johnson is liking it better than anyone else. The Honda rider from El Cajon, California, just a few moments ago, told us that if either he or Jeff Ward could win their class, then the U.S. would sew up its 7th straight Motocross Des Nations title. The pressure is on. If you think this is just another race, listen to what Jeff Ward had to say.
Probably the biggest thing maybe all the riders think of is that they have a really bad day. And you know, things just don't go right, and if we lost the thing because of, specific rider having a really bad day, and which I think we're all spot on. That shouldn't happen, but bad luck strikes at the worst times, and that's what's gone through my mind. I know we have the ability to win, and I should really hate to lose it here in the United States. So it's got a lot of additional pressure than it usually has.
The pressure is on, but Johnson and Ward have ignored it. We have just learned that George Jobé has pulled off the track with several yards of track banners wound up in his rear wheel. That could spell the end of Belgium's championship hopes. The hopes of the Dutch team, however, are very much alive. Kies van der Ven out of KTM is leading the 500 class. In the 250 class, his teammate John Vandenberg is running second behind Johnson. In the final laps, Johnson will slow slightly to guard his lead. Vandenberg will throw caution to the wind. The Dutch team needs to win both classes for the overall championship. Jeff Ward, meanwhile, has closed slightly on Kees van der Ven, but does not appear to be making a 100% effort to catch the Dutchman. Earlier, we talked to U.S. team manager Roger DeCoster about team tactics, and I believe Jeff Ward's contentment with second place is what team tactics are all about.
If our team is overall leading, we will want our riders to be conservative, keep their position, try to do better without taking any chances.
For Rick Johnson, Bob Hanna, and Jeff Ward, the 1987 Motocross Des Nations Championship is less than 1 lap away. For the 7th straight year, American riders have beaten the best the rest of the world has to offer. This year's win was possibly the best ever. It was on American soil in front of thousands of American fans. There's the checkered flag, and Rick Johnson, with his fist in the air, clinches the U.S. victory. Assuming the riders still on the track hold their present positions, the results of the final moto will look like this. In the 250 class, Rick Johnson took his second win of the day ahead of John Vandenberg of the Netherlands. Belgium's Eric Geboers will finish third. In the 500 class, it was all Kees van der Ven of the Netherlands. Jeff Ward, riding a conservative race dictated by team tactics, finished second. In the competition for the World Team Championship, U.S. riders with 3 moto wins and a second emerged victorious for the 7th straight year. In second place with 1 moto win and 3 second-place finishes was a strong team from the Netherlands. Belgium, with a first, a second, and a pair of thirds, finished third. We'll be right back with final words from the U.S. team. Stay tuned to the Nashville Network. Welcome back to Moto World. Just moments ago, the U.S. Motocross Des Nations team victorious for the 7th straight years. They've had a chance to clean up. They look pretty good with clean faces. Bob, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a lot nicer in the pits than it is on the track. It was a rugged track today. I'm just glad it's over. You know, I had a lot of confidence in Rick and Ward, but I was worried about myself, and I squeezed through.
A lot of controversy, and Bob Hanna riding a 125. Make you feel awfully good to prove them wrong?
Yeah, I'm glad it's over. I was a little nervous all day long, and I'm happy the way it turned out.
And riding the 500cc motorcycle, Jeff Ward. Jeff, just a tremendous ride out there.
Yeah, it was really tough. Everybody had goggle problems. Our eyes were killing us right now, but we hung in there tough, and the track was the most difficult track I think I've ridden on, at least on a 500.
Jeff, both motos, early in the moto, you lost your goggles.
Yeah, it wasn't unfortunate. The first moto kind of got knocked off, so I took them down, and a race like this, you definitely want to have your goggles on. I was thinking on coming back and getting some in, but the competitors are too tough, and I can't afford to lose that many places, so I hung it out there.
Jeff, probably the most impressive thing this weekend was seeing the 3 of you work together.
Yeah, we always work together really well and coming over to the races and put our heads together, and you know, we're the best riders in the world, and when we do that, we come out winning. That's what we've been doing for 7 years now. Gary, can you add to that?
Well, I don't know. Rick put in an awful fine ride today. Rick, you got a pair of moto wins that looked awfully good out there to me. I don't know, is this race any different for you than the other Motocross Des Nations that you've been in?
Oh, definitely, Gary. Here you got everybody. They don't have to read about it in the paper next week. They're here to see it, and